Every April, NFL teams put millions on the line, gambling on college stars to become franchise legends. But when the hype fades and the games begin, not everyone lives up to the spotlight. These are the 20 biggest draft busts since 2010, and the stories behind their fall. Coming in at number 20 on our list is Jalen Reagor, the guy that was drafted one spot before Justin Jefferson. That alone earns him a spot on this list. Drafted by the Eagles 21st overall, Reagor finished his Philadelphia career with just 799 yards and 4 touchdowns. And all he's remembered for in Philly is dropped passes, muffed punts, and being booed by his own fans. In 2022, he was traded to Minnesota and cut just a year later. While Jefferson is torching defenses, Reagor is almost completely forgotten by most NFL fans. But Reagor's is nothing compared to what's next. At number 19, we have Reuben Foster. Foster was an Alabama beast, a Butkus Award winner, but a first-round steal, not even close. After being drafted 31st overall, Foster tallied just 16 games before he was cut due to off-the-field issues. Charges were dropped, but he never recovered. Then, in 2019, Foster tore his ACL in Washington, and he hasn't played a snap since. And speaking of guys who flamed out fast, at number 18, we put Paxton Lynch. To be honest, we barely remembered his name, but Denver thought Paxton Lynch was the future after Peyton Manning. But what did they get? 4 career starts, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he released in 2 years. But here's the wild part. He's now been benched in the NFL, CFL, XFL, and USFL. Seriously, how do you get benched in every league? Next up at number 17 is Laquan Treadwell. Treadwell dominated at Ole Miss as a big body, red zone threat, but in the NFL, only 1,000 total yards in 7 seasons. Those stats sound like a practice squad player more than a first-round pick. While the other 2 Vikings receivers, Diggs and Thielen, became stars, Treadwell quietly faded into the background. The Saints gave up 2 first-rounders for the next guy on our list, Marcus Davenport. Drafted 14th overall by the Saints in 2018, Davenport had just 21.5 sacks over 6 NFL seasons. Just for comparison, TJ Watt had 22.5 in just 1 season. Davenport was plagued by injuries, inconsistency, and was not even close to worth the price tag the Saints paid for him. But wait until you hear what happened to number 15. The Titans are probably going to draft yet another quarterback in the first round this year, a trend that started in 2011 with Jake Locker. Locker was considered mobile, tough, and had a rocket arm. But he could never find his rhythm. With career stats of just 30 touchdowns and 22 picks and a completion percentage under 58%, Locker decided to hang it up for good, and he walked away from the game at 26 and never looked back. Next up is a guy that was taken in the same draft that included Myles Garrett and Patrick Mahomes. In 2017, the 49ers took Solomon Thomas at 3rd overall. In his career, Solomon Thomas logged just 18.5 sacks. He was mostly a rotational guy, and never became that dominant force he was supposed to be. He's found a small role with the New York Jets, but he's a rotational piece for another team after being taken 3rd overall. Not exactly what the 49ers had in mind. We all know it wouldn't be a draft bust list without mentioning Cleveland. The Browns have drafted some busts in the past, but in 2014, they took Justin Gilbert 8th overall. He was an elite athlete, but that translated to absolutely no production. 1 career interception, that's it. Gilbert was traded to Pittsburgh, then suspended in 2017, and now he's out of the league for good. Yet another name on Cleveland's bust-filled wall of shame. At number 12, this next prospect had blazing speed in college and in the NFL. Henry Ruggs was drafted by the Raiders at number 12 overall to stretch the field. He had all the potential in the world. But then tragedy struck. In 2021, Ruggs drove 156 miles per hour while intoxicated. He crashed, ending the life of 23-year-old Tina Tintor. Now he's behind bars serving 3 to 10 years in prison. His NFL career, and someone's life, gone in an instant. Next we have a guy that was drafted by the Jaguars 9th overall in 2020. CJ Henderson had it all. Size, speed, instincts. But no effort, no consistency. The Jags gave up on him after just 10 games. Since then, released by the Panthers and unsigned in 2024. After trading away Darrelle Revis, The Jets used the 9th pick in 2013 to find his replacement, Alabama star D. Milliner. The hype was massive. The production? Barely a ripple. Milliner started just 14 games in 3 seasons, logging 3 career interceptions before injuries and inconsistent play ended his career early. By 2016, he was completely out of the league. And in case you're wondering, Revis. He made 2 more Pro Bowls after the Jets moved on. At number 9, we had to mention the Jaguars again. In 2011, they drafted Blaine Gabbert at 10th overall. Gabbert had all the tools, but was never able to put it all together. In his career, Gabbert had 51 touchdowns with 47 interceptions and never topped a 60% completion rate. Since 2014, he's been a career backup, solid clipboard guy, just not a franchise quarterback. In 2021, the New York Jets took Zach Wilson 2nd overall. Hyped up after a flashy pro day, a lot of analysts thought he might have a chance at turning the Jets franchise back into a contender. But Zach Wilson never delivered. Just 23 touchdowns and 25 interceptions. Another quarterback, another Jets bust. Wilson ended up being benched multiple times. Then the Jets brought in Aaron Rodgers. And now Wilson will likely be a career backup, if he even stays in the league. At number 7, we have Isaiah Wilson. The Titans took the offensive tackle at 29th overall in 2020, and he became known as a first-round pick who played just 1 snap. A career full of arrests, league policy violations, and tons of off-the-field chaos. Wilson was traded and cut within a year, one of the fastest flameouts ever. And speaking of guys who flamed out fast, the Bears might be putting together a solid team now, with Caleb Wilson and Ben Johnson. But in 2015, with the 7th overall pick, Chicago took wide receiver Kevin White. White ran a 4.35 40-yard dash and at 6'3", looked like a future Pro Bowler. But injuries robbed him of everything after 3 missed seasons and just 1 career touchdown. The Bears decided to move on. It wasn't a talent issue, just bad luck. Rounding out the bottom of our top 5, we have Josh Rosen, drafted 10th overall in 2018 by the quarterback-needy Cardinals. 9 teams made mistakes, Rosen said on draft night. As it turns out, those 9 teams made a good choice by not drafting Rosen. With just 12 touchdowns to go with 21 picks, Rosen was dumped by Arizona after 1 year. Since then, he's been cut by 6 teams. The worst part? The 3 players drafted after Rosen all became Pro Bowlers, and Lamar Jackson was still available. Our 4th pick, we have Deion Jordan. Jordan had size, he had potential, but off-field issues tanked it all. Jordan was suspended 3 times and has just 13.5 career sacks. A major whiff for the Dolphins, and a warning sign for teams banking on physical traits. At number 3, we have the legend, Johnny Football, the Heisman, one of the most entertaining college quarterbacks of all time. But his NFL career? Just 14 games, 7 touchdowns, and multiple meltdowns. Substance abuse, partying, and complete lack of preparation defined Johnny's career. He flamed out fast and burned every bridge on the way out. We will always wonder what if when it comes to Johnny Football. At number 2, yet another Jaguars player. Jacksonville took Justin Blackmon 5th overall, and he looked like a superstar. As a rookie, Blackmon had 865 yards in just 14 games. But he couldn't stay out of trouble. He was suspended in 2013, and in 2014, he was suspended indefinitely and never played again. Blackmon was arrested again in 2025. Just a few days after it was announced he was to be inducted into the OSU Ring of Honor. Before we get to our number 1 pick, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more football content. And our number 1 worst draft pick since 2010, Trent Richardson. The Browns thought they drafted a franchise running back with their 3rd overall pick in 2012. Instead, 3.3 yards per carry. No vision, no burst, just bad football. After an amazing career at Alabama, a school known for producing top-tier running backs, Trent was traded to the Colts after 1 year and out of the league by year 3. Trent Richardson is the gold standard of draft busts that make us wonder, what happened? Ultimately, the NFL draft can make or break a franchise. Some of these guys had the hype, but not the heart. Who's your number one biggest bust? Drop it in the comments, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Did we miss anybody? Let us know.